Hey guys, this is Ryan. I'm making this video for you on Thursday because I am out and Mark is substituting, and I wanted to give you a little support to get you going on writing and answering our essential question, which you see right here. What are the biggest issues with for-profit PSE schools? So when I say biggest issues, I mean kind of problems. So one of the most helpful things you'll have is your graphic organizer from the film where you identify the problems. And your job, kind of like we did with the college admissions, is to look at all the problems you've identified and rank what do you think are the biggest, like the top three is what I'm talking about. So what we're going to do is once we've compiled all of our evidence, we're going to use the CER model to write. We've done this before already, but just a quick review. The C is for claim, like what's your point? What are you saying? What's your argument? The E is backing it up with facts, evidence. And we'll go over where you can get the E, the evidence. And then the reasoning is where you tie the two together, the C and the E. So you made your claim and you've provided a fact, but you need to connect them and explain, well, how does that evidence support your claim? So everyone's going to get three of these because you're going to be picking what you think are the three biggest issues. And you can use this to plan your writing. You can write right here in these boxes. Eventually we'll type everything up, but you can start on paper if that works for you. On the back, there's a rubric. Obviously, we're shooting for 3s and 4s over here. So if your claim is accurate and complete, you'd score 3. Evidence is about appropriate and sufficient support. So basically, the evidence, you can't just throw random facts out there. They have to kind of connect to your claim and provide enough evidence. And we're shooting for two different sources. And we'll talk about where that evidence is coming from. Reasoning, you can see, provides reasoning that links evidence to claim. And then the last thing is background information. Consider the fact that we're in week 9 and you have 8 weeks of experience learning all about college and other PSE schools. So really use that background knowledge, all of those things that you know that don't specifically relate to for-profits, but things like the admissions process and financial aid and access to college. So everyone's going to get 3 of these front and back. You can use this to plan. Like I said, the question we're answering is what are the biggest issues with for-profit schools? And here's another slide that I think is really helpful that kind of elaborates on the CER model. I'll post this whole slide deck to help you out. But the claim is basically telling me, what do you know or what are you saying? Like, what's your argument? The E, evidence, is like explaining, well, how do you know that? Back it up with some facts. And then the reasoning. Why does your evidence support your claim? The evidence is going to come from a few different places. Earlier in class, we listened to a few intro videos telling stories about for-profits and kind of doing some like undercover work where the admissions people in a few schools and the recruiters were being dishonest. Or just giving false information. So they could come from your intro videos. It could come from that 25-minute film we watched, the subprime education film. It could come from your own graphic organizer and your Venn diagram that we completed during the film. And then I'm going to post 2 things on Google Classroom, one of which is fact sheets and disclosures. What every school does is they have to share certain information with the public. So I'll give you a few links to those websites, and you're welcome to do a little Googling and find other fact sheets if you want to find specifics. And then the last one is I'm going to post several articles on Classroom as well. You're welcome to use. But if you want to find specific information, you're always welcome to do a quick Google search as long as you find a source or an article that's reliable and reputable. You're welcome to do that as well. So I hope that helps you guys get started. Everything's going to be in Classroom. The goal of Thursday is to complete your rough draft. So the goal is to have 3 of these done with your 3 problems or issues you've identified with for-profit colleges. And basically the way it's going to work is there'll just be 3 short paragraphs. And your claim is going to be like your topic sentence. So for example, if I think one of the problems with for-profits is that their recruiters are dishonest and they specifically seek out people who are vulnerable, that might be my claim. That's my lead sentence for my first paragraph. And then my next step would be to find evidence. Like, how could I prove that? I can't just say that without backing it up. So is there a specific example I could cite, or a statistic that I could find about the number of students who feel like they've been lied to or told a partial truth? And that's going to be your job to do a little investigation. So like I said, the name of the game at the end of Thursday's class is to have your rough draft done. So that's 3 short paragraphs. And you can type it or you can write on this sheet like I mentioned. Mark can help you with everything else, and I'll see you guys next week.